Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be doing something a little bit different here, and you'll notice we have different camera angles. I actually have one set up on me and one set up on my friend Chris Gurski here, who we are going to be interviewing today. Chris is a full-time traveling credit card consultant. He actually quit his full-time job just like me last year, and we share a passion for credit cards and points and miles and all that good stuff. So he is on a round-the-world trip right now. He's done at least a dozen business and first-class flights over the past 6 months, going through things like Qatar Q Suites, ANA's The Room. He's done Delta One Suites. He's done so many different first class and business class products with points and miles that he's going to share with us how he booked those, the cent per point conversions on those things, and really just how he's done this. So it's really interesting. Lots of good examples in this video and lots of tips and tricks from real world examples that Chris has. So Chris, why don't you introduce yourself real quick and get into the first example.
Thank you so much, Dan, for the introduction, and hey everyone, I'm very excited to be on this channel and talk about my experiences. So yeah, let's just dive in. I started my world trip in Germany and flew to Bali via Doha in Qatar Airways Q Suites, which are said to be the best business class product in the world. I mean, the Q Suites are just fabulous. You have so much space. We even got the middle seat, which turned to be a double bed, and I used 80,000 points for that. I transferred over city thank you points to Qatar Airways directly and booked the flight with just 250 bucks in tax and fees. So this comes out when we are regarding the cash price of $4,200 of 4.9 cents, which is an amazing redemption.
And this was the first trip of your journey, so you had a lot of time to plan this one out. Luckily, what was it, a 20-hour flight or something like that?
20 hours.
To get to your destination, which is, you want to be able to use your points and miles for those types of trips to book business class, lay flat seats, because those are just excruciatingly painful if you have to fly economy for 20 hours. So definitely sounds like a very valuable redemption, almost 5 cents per point. So that's very good for the first example. So let's hear what you did after Bali.
So I went to Thailand, flew with Singapore Airlines, only 24,000 miles to fly to Bangkok from Bali via Singapore. So this also puts me at a really nice 4.3 cents per point, which is an amazing redemption. And then also very, very good experience to fly business class for such a low mile amount.
Now, what do you think of Singapore Airlines? Is that one of your favorite business class products to fly? I mean, this is definitely a good deal here. So would you say it's one of your favorites, or how does it compare to Qatar business class?
That's a very good question. I like Singapore Airlines a lot because the number one thing at Singapore Airlines is the crew and the service. It's really world class and beats for me all my Emirates and also Qatar Airways experiences, and also they have some really nice aircrafts.
Yeah, and the good thing is with Singapore Airlines, a lot of the major credit card points currencies transfer directly to Singapore Airlines, where you can book those types of flights. For a lot of people out there looking at these types of flights, it's very easy to find, just transfer straight over to Singapore Airlines and you're good to go. So then from Thailand, where did you go to next?
Yeah, took a short economy class flight to Singapore, and then finally got to experience the Singapore Airlines A380 suites from Singapore to Hong Kong, which was mind-blowing. And I was very lucky that I got to experience that because I was waitlisted on this flight. I had a Cathay Pacific flight booked from Singapore to Hong Kong in business class, but then a couple days prior to departure, my waitlist got cleared at Singapore Airlines, and I was able to cancel the Cathay Pacific flight and just go on the nice Singapore Airlines suites flight, which is we can drop in some B-roll, which is just probably the best commercial aviation experience you can make. You have a bed next to your seat, which is just mind-blowing.
Yeah, you posted an Instagram reel. My fiance Jackie saw that pop up on Instagram, and she's just like, is Chris flying like private right now? Like it looked like an apartment in the sky, basically, for that Singapore suites. So awesome redemption. So what was the cash price on that? What was the points price? Any taxes and fees? And then what was the cent per point value?
So I have everything documented. The cash price was $2,700, and I was able to book it with 45,000 Singapore Airlines miles. So this route is a sweet spot route from Singapore to Hong Kong, and they use the A380. So if you want to experience the A380 on Singapore Airlines in the suites, this is the way to go. And this puts us at 6 cents per point on this flight, which is even better than all the redemptions before that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a really cool redemption right there. Like I said, it's one of those that like you make an Instagram reel about it, it's probably going to start to go viral because it just doesn't look like what any of us are used to. And unfortunately, I think there's no longer any way to fly Singapore Suites to America, right? You need to now be flying internationally. So that was one of those sweet spots right there, one of those flight routes that worked out really well.
So this trip from Singapore to Hong Kong was a very nice example for me that booking with points and miles is awesome because you have a very high flexibility. You can cancel or switch flights last minute and basically optimize your travel plans. So in this case, ditching Cathay Pacific Business for Singapore Airlines A380 Suites was just a no-brainer to do. And yeah, then I continued my trip from Hong Kong to Tokyo. I really wanted to try out Cathay Pacific Business Class since I ditched it for the Singapore Suites, but there wasn't any availability. And then I found a really nice economy class sweet spot from Hong Kong to Tokyo with ANA, booked via Singapore Airlines for 13,000 miles only. And this flight was running cash cost at over $600.
Wow.
So this was an economy class redemption of 4.2 cents. Which is very unusual for economy to have this high cents per point values.
Oh yeah, you'll take that any day. I mean, it's economy flights usually maybe you could get 2 to 3 at the most sometimes. So when you're able to find 4 cents per point or more, that's similar to like a business class redemption. And I mean, most people have at least 13,000 points laying around somewhere. So if you need to, in that position, I wouldn't want to pay $600 for an economy flight. So I think that's a perfect example as well for economy redemptions, which, you know, it's possible in the points miles game to do the economy stuff too. Obviously, a lot more people kind of lean towards like the aspirational stuff like you're doing, but you're certainly able to stretch out your points in for certain flights that you want to take to in economy.
Exactly. I don't really mind flying economy on a flight up to 5 hours. Above that, I would always want to fly business or first. But as I said, if you can get a really good deal out of it with economy class prices this high nowadays, especially after COVID, it's just a very good option to consider.
Definitely. All right. So then you made your way over to Tokyo. You stayed there for a little bit. I believe you were there around all the cherry blossoms and stuff, right? So you were there.
Oh yeah, that was beautiful.
Beautiful time of the year. Definitely a very popular destination for people to travel to right now. And then from the flight, I think you went from Tokyo to Honolulu, right? And this is the cool ANA The Room.
Yeah, I didn't book ANA The Room firsthand. I was booked on A380 Turtle business class from ANA because there wasn't any The Room availability. But then 2 days before my departure, the room availability opened up. I directly cancelled my A380 Turtle flight and booked straight away ANA The Room to check out this amazing product, which is basically a huge seat. I've never seen anything like this. It's even bigger than almost all first class seats. So ANA really did an impressive job. But this is another example. You can be very flexible when booking with points and miles. And a big learning from my around the world trip is many award availability seats are opening up last minute. So basically you can wait prior to the departure 1 to 2 weeks or even a couple days and find availability then, because the airlines are realizing, hey, we can sell those tickets in cash, then we are opening up award availability again. So I was able to secure that. ANA The Room, one of the best business classes I've flown in my life, definitely.
Yeah, so that's interesting because you can start to piece together a few of those tips there. You can say, okay, well, book with points and miles. A lot of the times there's good cancellation policies and flexibility there. Yeah. So you had another flight booked on this flight called the Turtle, which I had never heard before. It's these ANA planes that are painted that look like the turtle. So then you were able to get off of that one and get onto The Room when it opened up last minute because of that flexibility that points and miles allows you. I know that we've used just a few different tools I've talked about in other videos. I think you could use seats.aero. There's a few other tools for searching these last minute award availability flights. And by the way, speaking of tools, we have a blueprint that you can download with the link down below in the description. And that'll basically just summarize all the flights that Chris flew on his around the world trip and show you how he booked them using points and miles. It's completely free to download. So again, make sure you check it out down below if you want to. But yeah, having that booking it, maybe like within a week to 2 weeks out, even a few days out, or you book maybe 9 to 12 months out. That's when you're going to find like the most availability for these award tickets. You can still find it in other time frames as well. I've found it in other time frames for some of these flights, but those are going to be like the easiest ways to book those.
And this flight was the best point redemption of my whole life, knocking in at 18 cents per point. I transferred over my City thank you points to Virgin Atlantic. They had a 30% bonus offer, so I only had to transfer over 27,000 City thank you points to get 35,000 Virgin Atlantic points, and that is enough to book business class from Tokyo to Hawaii, or the other way around. And the cash price from this flight was over $5,000. So this locks me in at 18 cents per point, which is just incredible and by far the best redemption of my life.
I talked about this flight and showed some of the footage from this flight in another video that I'll link to down below that I just did a few weeks ago. So this flight can go from the west coast of the US to Tokyo for as much as, I think it was like $15,000 when I was looking through ANA directly, or $11,000 booked through a few other websites. So the flight from Tokyo to Hawaii was a little bit over $5,000, but these flights for the room can be quite expensive. So that's where you're going to find these really high cent per point things. And I've talked about this before too, but you know, the cent per point thing, it's a very subjective type of valuation. It's really meant to compare different flights apples to apples, but you know, just because you see something that's 18 cents per point doesn't mean that you would have paid $5,000 for a flight, but you only had to redeem 27,000 points, which is about $270 in value, to book this $5,000 flight. So that's where it really makes sense to, okay, instead of booking economy and cash, use 27,000 points transferred to Virgin using City, and then get this insane valuation for a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Getting over to Hawaii, and then I know you enjoyed yourself in Hawaii quite a bit too, and got to go skydiving and all that stuff. I'm jealous.
Yeah. And another specialty with this redemption booking, you have to call in at Virgin Atlantic in order to find ANA availability and do the booking actually. So this is one pro tip. You have to call in at Virgin Atlantic to secure an ANA booking, because you can't book it online. Another good option to book this route is via Avianca Life Miles. Avianca Life Miles, very popular, very good program, and you can also find those ANA flights there.
Awesome. Yeah, good tips. All right, so Hawaii, you were there, and then after that, you finally made your way over to the mainland USA. So
Exactly.
where'd you go from Hawaii to California, right?
Yes. I was on a big island, so I was flying from Kona to Los Angeles, Delta Airlines, Comfort Plus. The first class ticket was a little overpriced, so I went with Comfort Plus, since it was only also a 5-hour flight. It was at 1.8 cents per point, 33,000 Delta miles. Pretty decent, but nothing too special.
Not bad, but you also had some Delta miles laying around, and like, you know, it's tough to find great value for Delta flights a lot of times nowadays. There's been some devaluations over the years, so I think that's a smart redemption there. Just, you know, get a nice Comfort Plus, you have a little bit of space, and then you made your way to California. So you hung there. I know we met up out in California and San Diego for a little bit, you know, working on some things. And then what else did you do? Any other flights since then?
Yes, then I flew from Los Angeles to New York JFK in Delta One suites, A330neo 900. Was an awesome flight. Wasn't the best point redemption, but I really wanted to get in Delta One since I never had the experience to fly that. It was only about, in the end, 1.5 cents per point. But as I said, Delta miles, hard to find good value there, especially if you're flying Delta One. But I really wanted to get in this nice experience with Delta.
When you're passionate about something and you enjoy this as a hobby, that, you know, you're going to spend money on things that you want to spend money on. Like, people spend money on hobbies and activities. You have points, currencies that, you know, they have basically another form of money for you. So it's like a travel fund of some sorts. So when you see that you have Delta points laying around, you have a cool experience with Delta One, flying, you know, across the country here in the US, I think it's a good, you know, good redemption. Not the highest cent per point value, but again, it's all subjective, and it's you know, at the end of the day, I think it's about getting to travel and put yourself out there and experience new things that you would not otherwise have experienced without the points and miles. So cool example. I know we got some B-roll for that, so we'll throw that up on the screen too. And again, we have all these videos are going to be documented on Chris's social media accounts as well. So thankfully then, after that, he was close by, and of course I'm based here in Philadelphia, so we're fortunate enough that Chris decided to add Philadelphia to his world tour here. So I think that says something about the city of Philadelphia. So go like this video for the city of Philadelphia here. But yeah, you're gonna stay here for a little bit, and then you're gonna make your way back over to across the seas.
Across the seas, but before I do that, I'm going to Indianapolis. Where I studied for many years, and I actually had a nice booking there, a nice redemption. I'm flying with American Airlines, and this economy class flight would have cost $450 right now, and I booked it for just 9,500 American Airlines miles, and this is 4.7 cents in economy. So another above 4 cents per point redemption booking in economy, and for this short flight, I mean, economy is totally fine.
Oh, totally fine. I've had some that American Airlines booking through British Airways. I've booked some for as little as like 7,500 points for a ticket that would normally be maybe $210 or so. So it's it's almost like 3 cents per point, but it's so cheap and it's a discount. So yeah, no, American Airlines, some good value there when you can find it. Obviously, it's tough to transfer directly to American, so you sometimes need to have the miles already saved up, or you have the built MasterCard that transfers over to American. Or you book through other One World Alliance partners. But that's cool. So then Indianapolis for a little bit. You're going to then fly back out of JFK to get back over to Germany, which is your home. But
not yet.
You got to stop over a little bit first too.
Yeah.
So where are you stopping along the way to get back home?
Yeah, so I'm doing an Air India first class flight from New York JFK to Delhi. So basically 14 hours in first class with Air India. Very excited to test out an airline like this. I don't only want to fly those nice Arabic and nice US airlines. Also want to try out something different. And I'm gonna fly to Delhi and then from Delhi to Dubai, also with Air India business class then. But yeah, this was also a very, very nice redemption since Citibank had a nice offer again to transfer over to Avianca Life Miles, 20% bonus, and this flight was bookable for 100,000 Avianca miles, and I only had to transfer over 84,000 Citi Thank You points, and the flight in cash was 80,500, and this puts me in at 10.2 cents per point and just $8 in tax and fees for 14 hours first class and then 4 hours from Delhi to Dubai.
Nice, nice. So then you'll be in Dubai for a little bit, but definitely very high Semper point value. And again, taking advantage of the transfer partners, the transfer bonuses with those transfer partners. They're always running these things. Citi, American Express, even Chase sometimes will run these promotions for 20 to 30% more value when you transfer your points. So another good use case where keep your points inside those flexible currencies for as long as possible, because there are points devaluations that are always happening with certain specific airlines or hotels. So you want to be flexible until the very moment that you're ready to actually redeem those points and miles. We've seen United Airlines recently devalued their points by about 30%. So now, as a transfer partner of Chase, that's going to be way less valuable. So yeah, anyway, just keep your points inside of flexible currencies as long as possible, because then you can take advantage of the transfer bonuses when they do pop up. So good example of that there. And then last leg of the journey here, where are we going from Dubai?
Yeah, so we gotta finish strong, obviously, and I never got to experience the Emirates A380 first class with the shower, so I'm doing that on my last flight on this around the world trip. And transferred Amex points over to Emirates, 102,000 points, not that little points, I have to say, but you can experience a $7,500 first class flight. And the thing is with Emirates, like the difference in points and miles when you're comparing business to first class, it's just 15,000 to 20,000 miles.
Right.
And when you look at the cash prices, obviously the difference between economy and business is already 5 to 6 times. But then the first class flight is usually 2 to 3 times as expensive as the business class flight. And in the point and mile world, it's just marginal.
Small, yeah.
So I usually fly Emirates first class nowadays, since the difference is so little.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to finish up strong on this world trip with the Emirates A380 shower.
You got to make some viral content off that. I remember first seeing that with some Casey Neistat videos back in the day, and I think those got just like tens of millions of views because people are fascinated. Again, like it just looks like it's like a private plane experience. Like even private planes don't have showers on them, and this is a first class ticket that you're booking for 102,000 Amex points.
Yeah, this redemption 7 cents per point, so another really, really good redemption right there.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, when you get to see that. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to link this Excel sheet and some, you know, a little bit of extra guidance as to how these flights were booked. We're gonna link that down below in the description, so go ahead and check that out completely free, because I think, again, learning with these examples is the best way to learn. So we're gonna try to provide as much value through that, and we're gonna have a bunch of other stuff to come in the future here. But for now, make sure you go ahead and check out Chris's YouTube channel, his Instagram, Chris Flyer, little play in the words of Singapore Airlines Chris Flyer, right? So
A little bit right there, yeah.
but yeah, so no, he's got great stuff, high quality content, and he's literally a credit card pro at this stuff. So go check him out, and then if you haven't seen it already, go see the other video that I did on how to redeem credit card points like a pro, where I talked about ANA the room. I've got a full breakdown to how that was redeemed and how you can book some other ANA flights and other things like that. So go check that out in this video over here next. But as always, make sure you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.